Welcome to Israel Now News. I'm Rebekah Roberts.
And I'm Yochanan Elrom.
In our top story, Israel has targeted the top leaders of Hamas in the heart of Qatar. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu confirmed that the masterminds of the October 7th genocide were attacked in the same building that they celebrated the massacre of more than 1,200 people in Israel nearly 2 years ago. Turning to Gaza, the IDF has launched its offensive into Gaza City, sending the remaining members of the Iranian-backed terror group scrambling for the tunnels. Jerusalem ordered the evacuation of Gaza City as the IDF moves in for the final push to destroy the last Hamas stronghold and free the remaining 47 hostages held by the vicious terror group.
The Hamas terror group celebrated the devastating attack that claimed the lives of 6 Israelis and left dozens of others wounded. The Iranian-backed jihadi fanatics praised the Palestinian terrorists to open fire on a busy Jerusalem intersection during rush hour. Hamas called for further attacks on Jews. 2 armed ultra-Orthodox Jewish men quickly acted to neutralize the terrorists at the scene. The IDF confirmed that one of the men was an off-duty squad commander in the new Haredi Hashmonaim Brigade. This special unit allows religiously observant Jews to maintain their lifestyle by combining their religious studies with military service.
The Jewish state has announced the creation of a munitions directorate to increase Israel's military independence. In the aftermath of the genocidal Hamas attacks on Israel, the Biden administration withheld weapon shipments to the Jewish state as it battled enemies on 7 fronts simultaneously. Several European nations have since called for arms embargoes against Israel, reiterating the need for Israeli self-sufficiency. President Trump reinstated the weapon shipment, but Israel learned the hard way that it must be able to defend itself alone, if necessary. This new unit will be led by Defense Ministry Director General Amir Bar-Am. His responsibilities will include identifying armament gaps and preparing for future threats, centralizing the national stockpile of critical armaments, and developing emergency production capabilities for rapid output in times of war.
Christians living in Lebanon are demanding that the Iranian-backed Hezbollah terror group be disarmed. Beirut's leading Christian political party has condemned Hezbollah's aggression, saying it brought destruction and ruin to the Lebanese people. Beirut has instructed the Lebanese army to disarm the radical terror organization by the end of this year. Samir Jaja, the head of Lebanese forces, called on the remaining leaders of Hezbollah to give up their weapons and avoid another devastating civil war. He also urged the people of Lebanon to work together to build a new country free from Hezbollah.
Dozens of American evangelical Christians have filed a defamation suit against UN Special Rapporteur Francesca Albanese. This comes in response to Albanese's report entitled From Economy of Occupation to Economy of Genocide. In it, Albanese accuses American Christians of participating in fictitious war crimes in Gaza. 2 organizations, Christians Friends of Israeli Communities and Christians for Israel USA, filed suit against the UN official last week for trade libel and tutorious interference. She's also being accused of defamation for threatening sanctions against American companies and individuals she claims work with Israel.
Middle East experts are warning that Tehran is already preparing its next attack on Israel and Jewish communities abroad. Eliyahu Yossian is an expert on the fanatic Shiite Islamic Republic, and he's warning that Tehran continues to call for and prepare for the destruction of Israel. Yossian said the Ayatollahs are exploiting the current period of relative calm to strengthen Iran's capabilities and to build infrastructure for its continued terrorist operations. He said the regime in Tehran views the current period as an opportunity to fortify its standing and prepare for the next confrontation with the Jews.
Israeli security agents thwarted what could have been a devastating attack on the embassy in Belgium last week. Vigilant Israeli officers noticed a suspicious figure near its diplomatic compound in Brussels and quickly alerted the local police. The man was detained and found in possession of a firebomb that officials believe he intended to use to attack the Israeli embassy.
Nearly 900 people were arrested in London after protesting in support of a terrorist organization. The Palestine Action Group has been officially designated as a terrorist organization by the British government. Local police warned the leaders of the terror group that anyone publicly supporting it would be arrested. Nevertheless, thousands of radicals flooded the streets of London calling for the destruction of Israel. 890 people were arrested and 17 police officers were wounded in the pro-Hamas riot.
The Iran-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen are being blamed for sabotaging a series of underwater cables in the Red Sea, causing internet issues throughout Asia and the Middle East. Microsoft confirmed that deep-sea cables had been cut, resulting in degraded internet connectivity in multiple countries. The Houthis have fired hundreds of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and weaponized drones on the Jewish state. Last week, an attack drone hit the passenger terminal at the Ramon International Airport near Eilat. The following day, the IDF deflected at least 3 more Houthi drones launched against southern Israel. Despite Israeli strikes on the Houthi leadership, the Iranian-backed rebel army continues to pose a threat to international shipping and to all who live within the range of its deadly arsenal.
Israeli researchers are working to produce universal red blood cells to solve the global blood shortage. If successful, this technology could mass-produce blood appropriate for every type of recipient, replenishing supplies and saving lives. About 2 million people die from blood loss every year. The scientists at Red Sea Biotech are working to cultivate life-saving blood on an industrial scale. This technology could mass-produce clean, universal blood for donations, potentially eliminating the global blood shortage. Red Sea Biotech said its goal is to bypass the limits of human donation by providing a reliable, cost-effective blood supply to hospitals worldwide.
The island nation of Fiji will become the 7th country to establish its embassy in Jerusalem. The ceremony marking Fiji's recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital will be held this Wednesday, September 17th, at Fiji's official embassy in the Mocha neighborhood. Fiji will join the United States, Guatemala, Papua New Guinea, Honduras, Kosovo, and Paraguay in recognizing Jerusalem as the undivided capital of the State of Israel. This exciting development is the result of years of work between Jews and Christians in faith-based diplomacy. Israel's Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar congratulated the country's dignitaries on their decision to open their embassy in Jerusalem and vowed to continue working to open and transfer additional embassies to the eternal capital of the Jewish people.
Mike Huckabee, the U.S. ambassador to Israel, hosted a belated birthday celebration for America in Jerusalem last week. The event was called the 4th of July in September. It was held at the newly built Museum of Tolerance in downtown Jerusalem. The party was attended by Israeli dignitaries and political leaders. Attendees were delighted to learn that Ambassador Huckabee would also provide the evening's entertainment. The former Arkansas governor is a skilled guitarist who performed for the crowd.
Israeli archaeologists have announced the discovery of a 1,600-year-old Samaritan estate in central Israel. Excavations in the city of Kfar Qasim uncovered intricate mosaics, inscriptions, and impressive agricultural facilities. The Israel Antiquities Authorities said the settlement thrived for about 400 years. It confirmed that the size and splendor of the buildings, the quality of their mosaic floors, and the impressive agricultural installations all point to the great wealth and prosperity of the local Samaritan community that thrived there for centuries.
Members of the Dutch Senate have announced the formation of an Israel Allies caucus to coincide with the relaunch of the Israel Allies caucus in the Dutch House of Representatives. This first-ever bicameral caucus in Holland joins the wider European and global network of Israel Allies caucuses coordinated by the Israel Allies Foundation. Dutch lawmakers will now have a platform to promote cooperation with Israel, defend the Jewish state against anti-Semitism and delegitimization, and affirm shared Judeo-Christian values. Josh Reinstein, the director of the Israel Allies Foundation, said the relaunch of the Israel Allies Network in the Netherlands strengthens one of Israel's most important partnerships in Europe. That concludes the news portion of our show. Stay tuned for Ask the Source with Josh Reinstein.
Hello and welcome to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein, and we're here in our beautiful studio in Jerusalem. My guest today is Tal Shuster. She's the chairwoman of the Israeli-American Council. Tal, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Josh.
Tell our viewers a little about what is the Israeli-American Council.
So the Israeli-American Council is a coast-to-coast organization where we have about 100,000 people, again, coast to coast. And we are focusing on three goals. We're focusing on the next generation, connection to Israel, and connection to the Jewish community and the Israeli community.
It's interesting because there are actually a lot of Israeli Jews who are Americans. They live in America. What are the numbers like?
We estimate between 800,000 to 1 million people that are Israeli American like me, who are Israeli citizen and American citizen at the same time.
And this community, the Israeli Americans, are a lot more traditional, a lot more conservative, especially when it comes to Israel, than the normal Jewish community, the original Jewish community there, that are more reformed, more disconnected from Judaism in some parts. How do you explain that?
So the Israeli community, we have all kinds of Israelis, from secular to more religious, but we all share one thing in common: unconditional love to the state of Israel. And we are there with a mission to protect the state of Israel. Yes, we came to live our life over there. If it's to be a student, to open the business, I'm there for 27 years at this point. I just came for one semester to the United States. But here, we are here for a mission. We are here with unconditional love to the state of Israel, especially since October 7. We are always there on mission, but especially since October 7, we are there. We with unconditional love to the state of Israel.
Since October 7th, you've been very active. What are the issues that you've been focusing on as an organization?
So since October 7, we have been on the streets, especially in every city in the United States. So we are certainly focusing on next generation, especially supporting our students in the universities. 6 weeks after October 7, we organized the biggest rally in Times Square with about thousands of people. After that, we were there for our students, for the next generation, in so many universities, in UCLA, in Harvard, at Columbia, supporting them and giving them the right tools to deal with what they need to deal in the past year and a half on campuses. We are supporting the younger generation. We are connected to the Jewish American. We are all one together, the Israeli and the Jewish American. We are stronger together, and that's what we are hoping for. And since October 7, you see it. You see people that have never visited in Israel, Jewish American, but the love and support they're there for Israel, whatever we need.
You've been taking a major role in the fight against anti-Semitism and the boycott, divestment, and sanction movement. Why are those specific areas to focus on?
Again, our focus is the next generation. We are helping kids, young adult at any stage, and keeping the connection to Israel. But at the same time, we deal with so many cases on a daily basis that we are helping our community. If it's a incident in the school, in the high schools, in regular school, in any type of school, if it's incidents on campuses and they need their help and support how to deal with anti-Semitism, we are there for them. So since October 7, our goal is to protect Israel. And we do whatever we need to do over there to protect the state of Israel and keep the connection. If it means keep businesses with Israel, keep a good relationship between universities in the United States and in Israel. We are focusing as the IEC on the next generation, but we are there for our community to help them and protect the state of Israel.
The Trump administration has taken a very hard hand against anti-Semitism. It has defunded colleges that were allowing it. It has been very harsh to any leadership or organization that is pro-anti-Semitic. How important is this in your efforts as IAC?
First of all, we see a big change in the past few months. We do try to change universities. And for us, we are there on campuses, in every college that need our help, and every student need our help, we will be there for them. So if it means in UCLA that they're not letting their student come into the universities, we'll be there with the entire community and few 100,000 people to protect our students.
Something that's actually interesting is that you believe very strongly in working with Bible-believing Christians as partners to defend Israel. Why is the Christian community so important in this battle against anti-Semitism?
We are grateful for the Christian community. We can only win together, partnership, working together, and I'm amazed by their support everywhere in the United States. And I hope they will continue and build more partnerships together in the future.
Since October 7th, the two-state solution is dead. No one here in Israel believes in it anymore. Not the left, not the right, not the center. Yet you still hear from the mainline Jewish communities about a two-state solution. How does the ICEJ tackle this issue?
So the ICEJ is not focusing on the two-state solution, or the ICEJ is not focusing on anything which is related to politics. The ICEJ is focusing on our next generation and the love to Israel and whatever you need to do there in the diaspora to protect Israel. However, you do hear it in I'm saying in the Jewish community, there are different views. And our goal is to be able to bring everyone together. That's okay. You can keep your view and still love Israel and support Israel.
What is the future of the ICEJ? We know that Jews and Israelis are coming back to Israel, but the ICEJ is growing stronger every year. What do you see happening in the next 10 years?
So people are coming back to Israel, but still there are many people that decide to live over there, to stay over there, and you have others that are coming for relocation or different missions in the United States. We believe that will be much stronger and greater in 5 years. If today we have about 100,000 members, we believe that in 5 years we'll reach many more members. It's a coast-to-coast organization. You have it in 20 different locations in the United States. The biggest one are New York, New Jersey, Florida, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. But in the future, we're planning to be in many more regions.
Tal, there are literally tens of millions of people watching this show. What message do you have for our viewing audience?
I want to thank the Christian community. Your support is so important, and we are looking forward to continue and work together and for more partnership in the future.
Thank you, Tal, for being on the show. And thank you for tuning in to Ask the Source. I'm your host, Josh Reinstein. Now back to the studio.
And now the truth from Zion.
For decades, Israel warned that Iran's radical Islamic regime was building the means to strike Israel directly, not only through proxies, but with missiles, drones, and a nuclear program designed to wipe Israel off the map. Time after time, Israeli leaders drew red lines in global forums, such as the United Nations, and argued that credible force would be needed to stop Tehran's destructive ambitions. The regime defines Israel as the enemy and seeks nothing less than its total annihilation. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said Israel would not survive another quarter century. On June 13, 2025, having determined that Iran's capabilities and ambitions had reached a point that could not be ignored, Israel launched a surprise operation against the military and nuclear infrastructure of the fanatic Shiite regime. The goal was to degrade Iran's launch capacity and raise the cost of continued nuclear advancement. Tehran responded with ballistic missiles and suicide drones that rained down on Israeli cities and the civilian population in repeated waves. Sirens sounded across the Jewish state. Families ran for shelters time and again. The Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Arrow missile defense systems stopped most of the incoming threats, but not all. Some strikes hit apartment blocks, industrial sites, and key public services. The worst civilian incident came on June 19th, when a large Iranian missile slammed into Beersheba's Soroka Medical Center. Hospital wards were wrecked, dozens were injured. But fortunately, staff had moved patients underground just hours earlier. Israel, however, did not attack civilians with its weapons. Inside Iran, only military, nuclear, and government sites were targeted. While Iran's attack sought to inflict maximum pain on the Jewish people, Israel only sought to degrade the maniacal regime's ability to do so. Iran continuously claimed victory, praised its dead as martyrs, and vowed to rebuild its nuclear enrichment capabilities. On On June 21st and 22nd, the United States decisively entered the conflict alongside Israel. Under orders from President Donald Trump, U.S. B-2 bombers and cruise missile platforms struck Iran's principal nuclear facilities, Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan. Trump said the sites were completely obliterated. The signal was unmistakable. Nuclear breakout would be met with force, and Israel would not stand alone. Support inside Israel was overwhelming. Mid-June surveys reveal that approximately 70% of Israelis overall and 83% of Jewish Israelis backed the strikes on Iran, with broad support across the political spectrum. Critics debated timing and risk, as democracies do, but while missiles fell, unity prevailed. The human cost was real. The confirmed toll inside Israel was 28 people killed, all but one were civilians. And there were just over 3,200 injured requiring hospitalization. By June 24th, a U.S.-mediated ceasefire took hold. Jerusalem had stripped away Iran's nuclear shield and exposed vulnerabilities in the missile network. Meanwhile, the UN nuclear watchdog sought to re-engage with the hardline regime. But Tehran stalled on inspections, even as European governments signaled they were ready to reimpose UN sanctions if transparency and talks did not resume. Iran's leadership vowed Israel's elimination. Israel warned, prepared, and acted. When the missiles came, Israel absorbed the blows and struck back. When escalation threatened the region, the United States, under President Donald Trump, carried out the most direct strikes to date on Iran's nuclear infrastructure. By day 12, the guns fell quiet, but the lesson was loud and clear. Israel will strike those who threaten it, shield its people, and stand with its allies. Our edge is not only technology, it's unity, purpose, and friends like the United States who stand with us when it counts. Strength shortens wars, protects families, and creates the only space where real peace can grow. The danger persists, and so does Israel's advantage. From Jerusalem, this is the truth from Zion. Up next, the ICEJ Report from the International Christian Embassy, Jerusalem.
Today we're in the city of Kiryat Gat, in a neighborhood where residents of Kibbutz Nir Oz moved as a temporary placement until they can return home and rebuild their community. We were privileged to be able to come alongside of them as the International Christian Embassy to help kibbutz members who lost everything on that fateful day of October 7th. And they need new household items and help reestablishing their lives. Today we're going to meet Rotem and hear how this project is impacting her and her family.
Since 1980, the International Christian Embassy Jerusalem has been a voice of Christian support for Israel and connected the global church to the land of the Bible. Headquartered in Jerusalem, the ICEJ has taken action to stand with Israel by caring for Holocaust survivors, helping Jewish families return home to Israel, providing bomb shelters, fighting anti-Semitism around the world, and by inviting Christians to discover Israel for themselves.
אני רותם כהן, קיבוץ ניר עוז, נשואה ליקיר, יש לנו 3 ילדים, בני 9, 11 ו-13. באמת באותה שבת עוד נשארנו בניר עוז, למחרת הגענו לאילת. אף אחד לא ידע מה יהיה, לאן נלך. אחרי זמן, האמת היא לא ארוך, הגיעו להחלטה שנעבור לכרמי גת. אז הייתה שם עוד שהייה ממושכת באילת, לא היה פשוט שם בכלל. כל אחד רצה בית, המקום שלו, את הפינה שלו. והגענו לפה בתחילת ינואר, וניסינו להתחיל לארגן את החיים מחדש. באמת זה היה להתחיל הכל מחדש, חוץ מהעבודה, שהמקום העבודה בעצם לא השתנה. חוץ מזה, הכל השתנה. הסביבה שהיינו רגילים לחיות בה, המסגרות של הילדים, הכל היה שונה. זה לעבור מהכפר לעיר, זה שינוי לא פשוט לקיבוצניקים. עם הזמן, פשוט אין מה לעשות, צריך להסתדר עם מה שיש, להגיד תודה על מה שיש. אחרי כמה שבועות שהיינו פה, הרגשנו שאנחנו רוצים להרגיש שזה הבית שלנו, ולא בית זמני או משהו שקיבלנו בהשאלה. היה את הרצון לעשות עם זה משהו, אבל היינו צריכים משהו שיעזור לנו להניע את התהליך הזה, ובאמת הפרויקט הזה שקיבלנו לכאן בהמון שמחה, בעצם עזר לנו לתת את הפוש להתחיל לעשות משהו, כי אנחנו באמת היינו כל כך עוד בהלם, מאוד קשה לתפקד אחרי אירוע כזה. אנחנו כל הזמן מדברים על זה, על שזה פשוט מדהים כמה אנשים טובים, באמת, יש בעולם הזה. לא מכירים אותנו באופן אישי. זה לא אנשים שיש איזשהו קשר משפחתי, ולמרות זאת, הם נותנים מעצמם. שום דבר הוא לא מובן מאליו. זה גם משהו שכל הזמן אמרנו לילדים שלנו, גם כשהיינו באילת וקיבלנו שם כל מיני דברים. כל הזמן אמרנו להם, נכון, עברנו מה שעברנו, אבל זה ממש ממש לא מובן מאליו שאנשים מוכנים לתת מעצמם כל כך הרבה בשבילנו.
After Hamas brutally attacked Israel on October the 7th, 2023, the ICEJ has been actively standing with Israel and her people through advocacy and urgently needed aid projects. Now is the time for Christians to turn their love for Israel and the Jewish people into real action as never before. Your donation will help deliver bomb shelters to at-risk areas, provide necessary supplies for first responders, support affected citizens with trauma care, and will eventually help rebuild these devastated communities. Visit ICEJUSA.tv to donate online or call 1-800-910-6355 and give your generous gift today.
That's all for this edition of Israel Now News. I'm Rebekah Roberts.
And I'm Yochanan Elrom, reporting from our studio in Jerusalem. Join us again next week for all of your Israel updates.